Hello, morning. Right, I'm on holiday. Two lads I take to school. They've, well, the school where they go has shut the whole of the year down because someone's got the so-called lurgy apparently. So they're not going in for 2 weeks. So I'm not going to work, possibly for 2 weeks, because it's so bad out there at the moment. I ain't doing it. I'm not sitting in the car all day for 20 quid. No way. Jose. Or anyone else. So, yeah, I've just been out to the chemist. I stood in the post office queue for 20 minutes. That's always busy in the morning, so I thought I'd get there early. No one says anything about wearing a mask. You just get on with it. Just go about your day, you know. And if you do, always take this. If you do, there's my cue. So everyone knows what side I'm on. I'll tell you. So yeah, and then I went back to see my surgeon because I've still got problems in the inside of my nose. I know the outside looks beautiful and very small, but up there it's fucking sore and not very nice. Well, it's alright, it's just sore. So I've got now 2 tubes of cream that I've got to alternate up there for 2 months. Wonderful. Anyhow, so what's been going on? And I might be able to do one of these every day, because all I'm going to do now is do a bit of cycling, probably indoors, do a little research for a bit of Stu's News, possibly have a glass of wine. Excellent. Right, so Lewis Hamilton's got COVID and Joe Biden's broke his leg. But Joe Biden is walking about on his leg boot like nothing's happened. So we do hear that he's handed himself in because there's no way he's going to become president, but they're going to use him. I've actually heard that they might even leave it right up until the last minute, where on January the 20th he might go to do his acceptance speech and he gets arrested by the military on live TV. Now that'd be interesting, but none of us want it to go anywhere near that long. Thank you very much. So the couple of people that are putting that out there, can we have something better, please? Yeah, and Lewis Hamilton has got the COVID now, so we all know he's a bit of a bended down on one knee wearing a mask. But, you know, he preaches onto people wearing a mask, wins a race, doesn't he, and then goes and dies in the crowd. All his pit crew and that. Serpent, I don't like him at all anymore. Used to, not anymore. So he showed his true colours. So, wonder if he's got a leg boot on soon. Because what we know is that Hillary Clinton had a leg boot on years ago, so did McCain, all these Hollywood stars and that. And whether it's to hide an electronic ankle bracelet or whether the boot is the ankle bracelet, we don't know. But it's no such thing as coincidence, and it always seems to happen just about the right time, doesn't it? So those 5 special forces that were killed supposedly in that raid, General McInerney was saying this, so that's quite a reliable source, isn't it really? And he came on after the interview with Flynn and before. So I mean, if 5 of these highly trained Navy SEALs, you've got to imagine all these geezers are Schwarzenegger in Commando. How many of those the other side did they take down? Although on the other side, this was a CIA headquarters and Cytel server bank headquarters, and so you know, you got the white hats fighting against the CIA. So you can see how deep this swamp is. I mean, we might have, you know, Barr might have even turned now. AG Barr, he's come out and said they can find no evidence, but I don't believe that. I always like to leave it a few days. But they've taken that away from the Department of Justice now and moved it over to the Department of Defence, because we know that the military watch the election live, and it's a massive sting operation. So this is all smoke and mirrors. There's two operations going on at the moment. One is this Rudy Giuliani, Jenna Ellis and all this stuff in front of the cameras to wake the people up, while all these operations are going on by the military behind the scenes, gathering more evidence, bringing more creatures out of the swamp. So that's good. And I mean, what you are seeing at the moment is a coup d'etat in progress, aren't you? This is a live, on TV, coup of the United States of America by the Democrats and a lot of the Republicans, the deep state. The deep state, you know, all goes back to the Chinese Communist Party, Soros, all these big actors, the Rothschilds. It's going on live. And, you know, people can't see it. You've got to give your name and an address and all these things, have your temperature taken if you want to go and have bacon and eggs somewhere and stuff like that, and people are going, oh, I can't wait for it to get back to normal, or this new normal's not very good but we'll accept it. It's like, come on, what have you got to do to rise? Because you're watching it live, what all the crazy conspiracists and the tinfoil hatters and the truthers have been telling you for years. One world government, vaccinated population, all this sorts of stuff going on, right? And you're still sitting at home going, nah, they wouldn't do that. Well, they are doing it. So thankfully, you want to try and get behind the Q plan, because I am. And if that ain't going to come through, we could be in trouble. But we're not. Have the faith, trust the plan. I am. So, what else we got? Two operations. Right. The CV, this virus that's still going about in the air, if you believe that, has a survival rate of 99.97%. Something like that. You know, most people won't even know, 80% of people won't even know they've had it, sniffly nose, something like that, whatever. But the vaccination, so many people are queuing up. I can't wait till the vaccine comes out to roll their sleeves up. Has only got a 95% success rating at present. So, what would you rather do? Let your immune system have a go at it with a 0.03 chance of getting it and being affected by it badly, or a 5% chance with the vaccine? You make your own mind up. It's not rocket science, is it? No. Right, if you want to see, I mean, I haven't, for years I've been thinking, I don't know why people won't wake up, but you can see now, because just people won't. You go onto YouTube and look at Mark Dice, how he walks about interviewing a lot of the American people, and they can't answer basic questions. You know, 1 in 20 people can answer one of his questions, you know, about their war of independence and other stuff to do with the American history, or other basic geography questions and things like that. But they can all answer questions about the Kardashians and dog shit like that. And it's worked perfectly, hasn't it? You know, this deep state cabal plan has worked perfectly for the last 100 years with what they've been trying to do. And I don't know, people just need to start investigating things because it is all coming out. We've had Obama's been arrested, but we shall wait and see about that, because like I've said to a lot of people now, I will not say anything to any truther anymore, really, about look at this news report or look at that or anything, unless the mainstream media starts to fold, which they're bound to soon. I know that. That's my mum waker. When a bummer gets perk walked. That is the mum waker. A lot of people say, you know, how are these... See, I think this as well, you know, how can these people that are meant to be ankle tags and all that still getting about there, doing the plan and all that? Well, they've got so much evidence on them and all that, and all this stuff that there will come a time that they will not be able to walk down the street. But, you know, it makes you wonder whether they haven't all got a cyanide pill inside them or a heart attack pill or something like that, that, you know, as soon as they deviate from what they've been told to do, that's them gone. Bosh. Right, we're going to have a look at Twitter in a minute. Yeah, I've just only scribbled this down today. I'm going to do 2 videos at the end. That's wonderful. And yeah, so let's go onto my PC screen. Let's have a look at Twitter. Oh, look at that evil Dianne Feinstein. Let's just see what's going on. Any headlines? Come on, let's quickly bring that home up. There's so much stuff going on. All people are posting this. All these people are coming out with witness statements and stuff. Go away. Nah. Let's just see what I've posted then. Now, if anyone touched me with that, I'd bend it into a star shape before I shoved it up their arse. I think most people would. Have you seen this? Social distance zapper. Look, in a shop. 4.5 volt zap. Extends up to 5 feet. Yeah, so if you are 2 metres away, they can't get you. So, remember that, truthers and non-mask wearers. How many people... There's not a lot of people on the planet that would actually, or is there, stand there and put that on fucking someone's face, right, because they got too close. I wouldn't want to be them if they did, doesn't matter who it was. I'm going to show you that, volunteers, and Awaken with AP. So AG Barb's caught on camera, heading to a meeting with the White House. Now, a lot of people have said, what's going on here? He has basically said that the Department of Justice cannot find any evidence that would alter the result of the election. So basically what he said by that there's no evidence to say that Biden hasn't won it, which is bollocks, we all know that. He knows that. He has slow walked a few things, but good or bad, we've yet to see. It's all coming out. Eyes on. Right, James O'Keefe.
CNN says on Jeff Zucker's 9 a.m. editorial conference,
he is basically, I don't know if the thread is here, where he actually phoned up. But James O'Keefe phoned the head of CNN and said, we have been recording your phone call secretly for the last 2 months, Project Veritas. And Jeff Zucker, I think it is, went, okay, well, my people to get back to you, we'll end this call. I'll just play this little 2-minute clip. This is not that, but this is another one of the calls they made, basically about not letting Trump, I think, have too much airtime with all this election stuff.
CNN says on Jeff Zucker's 9 a.m. editorial conference call how they, the Democratic Party, powerful interest groups, may determine how CNN will cover Trump not conceding the presidential election.
I just want to underscore something that Michael said earlier about the transition in Trump, because I've been talking to a lot of people this morning on both sides, and I just keep hearing the same thing, both from Republicans who have not come out to congratulate Biden, but also to those who have in the Democrats, and that is that we have to be, news organizations have to be very careful and very responsible about not giving Trump too much of a platform on his not conceding, because they feel the transition can go forward. And, other than the national security briefings, which are critical to start now, they just don't want us to exaggerate that Trump isn't leaving office. And I'm going to have a lot of specific reporting on that later today, but just big picture wanted to underscore what Michael had said.
Yep, agreed.
On the issue of why it's important to get the transition going right, the 9/11 report talks about one of the problems was that the trouble that was brewing got lost during the transition. So if you want a good concrete example of what happens when you don't have a good transition, go look at the Twin Towers.
Yeah. So I think that's an important point. I think it was discussed a little bit yesterday in terms of national security. I think it's really important to raise again. I would encourage folks to think about, that 9/11 Commission report and the lack of transition.
Well, Project Veritas. So, stuff coming out every day. People that say, there's not a lot going on, is there? There's stuff coming out every day. We all want the mum waker, but as of yet, we haven't seen it. So, what was I going to say then? Well, there you go. Basically, I was going to say, do you think that is going to wake the CNN watchers up? Probably not, because I doubt they'll show that on CNN now, will they? The gospel informant. This is my profile. Oh no, that's because I'm in that. Right. Bar. Watch him. Explosion. Boom. Right. The bar and dumb doubters. Yeah, there's loads of stuff to this. Like I say to everyone, I was really surprised this morning that I didn't have a few messages going, Bar's deep state, I don't know what's going on. I didn't have any of that today, which was nice. So maybe people are taking heed a little bit and just having a chill, letting it go a day and that sort of thing, Wonderful. I've just got to say while I remember as well, truthers, if you're one of the ones that bangs on about, I don't wear a mask and all that, I won't wear a mask, but you put one on to go to the supermarket because you don't want any hassle, that's even worse, I would say, than just wearing one, blending in with the crowd. Right, you need to, of course, if someone has a go at you and you feel, intimidated or something and they won't back down, put one on. Do what you got to do. But just trying to blend in for the sake of it is not going to wake everyone up, and it's going to keep people asleep more. Especially all the old dears that are looking out their window, frightened because they want to go out, but every time they look out, all they can see is people with masks on and things, So, I can't believe I said that, and it's just said, I wonder how many people are awake and know it's a circus but wear the mask because they don't want the hassle. I didn't see that, I was coming to that, excellent. Yeah, they did this is Monkey Works, that's all the planes up in the sky. 880, 11 hours ago. 630 more than average. Tour, all part of their plan. They planned this. It's this is, you don't watch this Q thing go for 3 years for it all to fold and crumble at the end. They've got so many outs with all this. Barr makes it harder for Joe Biden to fire Durham. Yes, well it does, doesn't it? Because Bacon, Attorney General William Barr appointed John Dunham Special Counsel to investigate the origins of the Trump-Russia probe. So whether they leave this up until the final inauguration and Biden gets any powers in the meantime, I think they're trapping everyone, and it's a beautiful thing to see. I'd put an eye in now. Have a quick listen to this. This is just one of these hearings. That's Rudy sitting there and that. But someone says about, we are battling the devil here, and it's good versus evil, and we know it is.
But ladies and gentlemen, this is a skirmish. You ain't seen nothing yet, because when Satan wants to extinguish a light, he will stop at nothing. So be on your guard, put on the full armor of God, and be prepared to fight.
Here. See, that's Rudy there, General Ellis there. But that was the guy there on the commission, or whatever that was, taking the meeting, that was saying that. Amazing, really. And it's good versus evil. Now, this is this chap is probably about to regret downloading data from the Georgia server. He's on one of the teams. Anyway, someone took a picture of him. Anyway, the Anons went straight on with it. They dug out all his information within 20 minutes, I think. Mr. Vote For, County Technician, Dominion Voting Systems, Georgia. Thanks, Code Munty. Took 4chan 20 minutes. They don't mess about. You've got the 17 plan is not just about someone posting on an internet board and loads of gullible people going, oh, like that. It's not. There's thousands of these top hackers and white hats around the world behind it, and it's not. This team, it's got thousands of people behind it, and like I said, you've only got to go into the board and have a look at them chatting live. It's amazing. I love this 3 days and 3 nights posted. Relax, optics, planning, evidence, rope. They are hanging themselves. Beautiful. It's a statement. Oh, let me just read this statement. Statement from legal team on. No, I won't. Yes, I will, because you might not be able to see that. With all due respect to the Attorney General, there hasn't been any semblance of a Department of Justice investigation. We have gathered ample evidence of illegal voting in at least 6 states, which they have not examined. Yeah, so it's basically, that goes against what Barr says. That's Rudy Giuliani and General Ellis, that is. But this is all optics, isn't it? Monkey Works. Now, this is great. You don't think Trump knows what's going on? You think Trump's a buffoon? I don't.
You see, I'm so loyal to people, and maybe I'm loyal to a fault, but I'm so loyal to people that when somebody's slightly disloyal to me, I look upon it as a great act of horror.
And how are you different than you were 3 or 4 years ago?
Well, I used to say, and in fact I think I said in my first book that, and maybe this was foolish, but I really meant it, that someday I'd like to maybe lose everything for a period of time to see who's loyal and who's not loyal. And frankly, I found out a lot of things.
Did you find out who's loyal and not
I'll tell
loyal?
you what, and you can't guess it, you can't predict it. You think certain people would be loyal no matter what, and it turns out that they're not, and you just can't predict it. It's very difficult.
And that
I
would
think
have
I would have
been
treated people differently. I think that, some of the people that were most loyal to me are people that I didn't think would be. Some of the people that were least loyal to me are people that I think I would have treated them differently. I think I would have treated different groups differently. I would have wiped the floor with the guys that weren't loyal, which I will now do, which is great. I love getting even with people. But I will.
It's
I
Loa.
wipe.
You love getting even.
Oh, absolutely. You don't believe in the eye for the eye? You do.
No.
I know you well enough. I think you do. But anyway,
But tell me, you're going to get even with some people.
Yeah, I know, if given the opportunity, I will get even with some people who are disloyal to me.
Come on, Joe. Even though you didn't endorse me. He's not forgotten.
Yes, exactly. What did that say just there? With We've lost confidence in the system and electoral leaders. 79 million Americans believe election was rigged, the results fraudulent. We need an in-person only paper ballot revote, especially in the states where flagrant irregularities have occurred. No accuracy, no democracy. You see, you know, you watch that a minute there with Trump, and it bothers me not whether what side bar is on. Trump knows. Trump always knows. That's a great video there. There's Monkeyworks ripping Hussein's birth certificate apart, showing you all the layers in it, how it's fraudulent. He's from Kenya anyway. Think about it logically. The only way is the military, fully controlled, save and spread. We all want to know what that 11.3 verifies as first marker is, but biggest advance on drop on poll, mass public awakening, lovely. There's a massive Trump chain there. The Insurrection Act will be called soon, I'm sure. They planned it. It's not political. It's about national security. Now, look at this. Please tell me this is photoshopped. How conditioned, mind controlled, and just plain stupid have you got to be, really? Yeah, we know you. You know, are they musicians? No, they're just blowing their horns in the crowd. But they've all got masks with holes in the front. And I mean, how old have you got to be? 4 or 5 years old before you go, I ain't doing that, it's pointless. What's the point of that? These Muppets. You know, and this lot here, these are adults, aren't they? They're adults playing in a band, conditioned to wear a mask with a big hole in it, so you can put your saxophone mouthpiece in there. I don't know. You know, you're just seeing levels of stupidity at the moment. That is mind-boggling. Really, can't get your head around it. You must admire the courage of POTUS. He could have simply taken the win by exposing voter fraud prior to the election. But that's not the way he plays. No, it is not. This is not just about a 4-year election. This is about destroying the deep state and evil on this planet and taking it down once and for all. And the swamp is deep, we know. Michael Jackson. Was Michael Jackson? Is he still alive? Are we going to see MJ come through the smoke and a few others? Is he still alive? Was he secretly trying to tell us about med beds when everyone thought he was a loon sleeping in his oxygen chamber? Well, his monkey's not in there with him, is it? What was his chimp called? Was it Peanuts? That wasn't Peanuts, was it? I can't remember now. I'm sure, yeah, it did have one, didn't they? There are two types of human rights, of humans right now. Those that watch the MSN and have zero fucking clue what's going on in the world. Then there are those of us watching a movie like, how the fuck am I fortunate to be alive witnessing this biblical war? This is epic shit. Well, that's David Nino Rodriguez, and that is spot on, isn't it? And you know, we are living this, and this volunteers video I'm going to put at the end is amazing. Monumentum shifting, that's the hand we know shown, that's excellent, that, Bella Red. We know they're lying, they know they are lying, they know we know they are lying, and we know they know we know they are lying, but they are still lying. That there's, look at the stupidity of this.
Yeah, in Hull, Ontario.
Fucking moron. I don't need to play any more of that. Oh, look, I'm sorry if you don't like swearing, but 2 decades in and I've had enough. Swearing never hurt anyone anyway. Now, I had a little thing about here. That's nice, isn't it? Just a little, it looks like comms, doesn't it? Trump joining humanity, awakening the pineal gland, doing something with duality, knocking over the deep state castle, bringing in the dove of peace. ARQ, That's what you want to do. Oh, sorry, 17. Put that on the board. That'll make me happy. Here's Trump. Look, Trump knows Epstein. And that. He's been infiltrating this mob for years. Right. Trump banned him from Mar-a-Lago, didn't he, when he found out about what a complete deviant he was. That's 2 minutes 20 seconds there of... We don't need that music on. That's just loads of celebrities with their boots on and ankle bracelets. Trudeau there, Ellen, No Name. You know, this is... oh, it's all coincidence, isn't it? That must be. Transportation, you know, federal mark, that's highly illegal. There's just so much evidence coming in from everywhere else. There's Biden, look, with the Trump signature on his leg, that's quality. Now this is GTV. I won't play the sound on that, just in case they don't like it, but he says that Biden turned himself in, specifically went to see McConnell and that, and then came out with his dog story. This is dogs communications again, isn't it? Lots of these celebrities and stuff are having, you know, dog stories. It is communications to us all. It's going to be beautiful to read, even for us troopers, when it all comes out. We get the encyclopedia of the takedown of the Cabal and the Great Awakening and go, oh, I missed that. Oh, that's what that meant. Wonderful. If you're not going to do the research, exactly. Now, I'm getting the hump with them too, but that's brilliant there. Ant and Dec to host a new celebrity game show called Show Us Your Ankles. Let's have a look at your boots. Right, this is Robert David Steele. I don't think I've shown you this before, but this is from The Plot Against the President. If you haven't seen that, watch it. Absolutely outstanding. But I'm sure this is what they've said to all these ones that are still playing their part. Matt Hancock, whoever, you know, whatever's going on.
We have it all. All of the illicit wealth in the world has been tracked by the National Security Agency for the past 15 years. We now know beyond a shadow of a doubt that Wall Street has stolen $100 trillion from Main Street with naked short selling. We also know that Wall Street has laundered $100 trillion in dirty money from trafficking in children and women and drugs and guns and gold. I can never tire of saying that 90% of the people in the U.S. government, the U.S. military, the U.S. intelligence community are good people trapped in a bad system. The secret intelligence community serves the deep state. It does not serve the American public. And CIA in particular has been doing torture, rendition and torture, drone assassination, regime change, helping to start wars based on lies, all because war and trafficking in humans and drugs and so forth are a profit center for Wall Street and the deep state. And once the president gets Binney into NSA and processes 100% of what we have in NSA, we have every single one of you by the balls. You cannot survive this. You have one out. The Truth and Reconciliation out is make the deal, motherfucker, or you are going to die.
Boom! Call that. Almost burst straight into tears when he said that the first time. Absolutely amazing. Mil-Spec, Monkey Works on YouTube. If you don't watch him, have a look because he's brilliant. Biden again, like that. There's another bit of voter fraud getting caught there. That's what Dan Scavino said over the part where Joe Biden supposedly. This is the bone he broke. Apparently that bone is meant to be called the keystone bone in the foot, and there's a lot of that in the 17 drops. There's a lot of Americans there. It's a beautiful thing to see, but you don't need the alcohol service. Decoded, the Great Awakening. That's Anomaly. Well, I showed you a video of his last time. Trump and his grandson coming up. Fair play to this geezer. I'd love to shake him by the hand one day. If you want to watch, you know, how they took it over, all these serpents, how John D. Rockefeller overtook the schooling, education service, the medical industry and stuff like that, there's some great documentaries online. Right, now I'll just get down to this woman, because that's where I'm going to go down to, and I'm going to quick look at Parler and show these two videos. But this woman has found out how to get the eggs out of their shells when you hard boil them. So she's slaughtered. She's had 2 bottles of wine already, but this is a cracker. It's wicked.
I've done had 2 bottles of wine, but I have to show you this because it's the funniest shit I've ever seen. Okay, so I'm trying to make deviled eggs, and I hate shelling them. So I've learned a little technique. You take the tip of it off, break up the bottom of it. Comes right out. Let's do it again. Just pop it, pinch it, blow it. I've done had 2 bottles of wine, but I have.
Excellent. What a character that is. So we like to have a little bit of humour in the Wake Up Project as well, don't we? Right, let's have a look through my Parler quickly, because we do get a few different stories here. Oh, I don't want to paint too much. How long have we been on here? Let me just check. 36 minutes. Is that my... Still on the PC screen? Yeah. So, great article. How do you buy this? Just for his name. There's lots about Barr. I'm not going to talk about it. We'll just wait about. You know, this is the court case going on in Georgia and stuff. But while they're trying to halt it, you've got wagons showing up that hard drive, you know, shredders and all this. That the world is watching this coup take place on live TV, and it's definitely waking the Americans up. It won't be doing anything with people over here because they don't know nothing about it, because they all think Biden's a president if you don't do your own work. And well, that's all you'll know, because the mainstream media aren't reporting on it. We need a big story like Obama getting perk walked or something. That'll do it for people. That's the mum waker. Michael J. Coe is good. There's a few stories here. I don't really need to listen to this. If I haven't showed you this, right, has it got the dates on there? 1 day ago, I want to go to the 29th. Yeah, you listen to this. This is the sort of evidence that's coming out.
If you could just tell us in your, in the simplest way possible as an expert, what is your opinion as to the validity of the numbers that were certified today by the Secretary of State and the Governor about this election?
If I was an executive at a publicly traded company, I would never sign that because I risk jail time and having all my money taken from me in lawsuits. So to answer your question, I would never ever have certified. I'd rather resign than have certified those results.
So your professional opinion is that the numbers are fraudulent?
I believe they're fraudulent based on the data. And my sister asked me a simple question this morning. She goes, how sure are you? And my sister's a pretty stubborn person like me. And I said, I'd be willing to put my life on it. I'm that sure about the analysis, assuming that the data that I got from the state and everything else was accurate. So, you know, if you're giving me all inaccurate data from everywhere, then, you know, that's my only caveat.
So, this evidence is coming out. I wonder if we've got this one other geezer. Yeah, here he is. Now, this bloke is, I think he's in the military intelligence. But you listen to what he says. He basically says, we were watching the election and we've got all the information.
When we're talking about, it was Mr. Krebs? Is that correct? Correct. Okay. He stated most secure election in history. He stated we're not connected to the internet. He stated no votes leave this country. This is all things he's stated publicly.
So he's just a website, correct?
Right. So are you willing to say under oath that you have seen the connection to the internet? You have seen it go offshore to Germany, Frankfurt. Are these things that you have personally seen and can say that is not true?
Our white hat hackers, yes, they have that traffic in the packets.
So why would he make that kind of comment, do you think?
Either not knowing, believing the myth, or not wanting the truth to be known.
Thank you.
Senator Borrelli?
So, I mean, anyone that still thinks with this going on, Biden's just going to wander into the White House has got another thing coming. So that, right, we don't need to go through this anymore. Make the deal, mate. Yeah, done that. Right, get rid of that. Get rid of that. Now, this is just Awakening with JP. We all like to have a little bit of humour, don't we? And I love this guy. But he basically, if you're watching this and you're 8, you're going to love it. If you're watching this and you're half asleep, you might be going, is he talking about me? That's quite offensive. But it's not. It's just trying to... all he's doing is just trying to wake people up with how pathetic the situation is and how the elite are taking the piss out of people. Right, I'm going to watch this, then I'm going to show this volunteers at the end, which is beautiful. This is about 7 minutes, and so's the other one.
Whoever controls the media controls the population, and that's us. We're the elite. We control the media, and therefore we control you. I can assure you, we the elite are not motivated by money. Even though there's just a few of us and we own nearly all of it, we're not motivated by money. We wouldn't stoop to that level. Money's a poor man's currency. We're motivated by control, specifically by controlling people. If you thought it was a thrill to make a bunch of money, just wait until you have control over a bunch of actual people. It's way more thrilling. Like, you know how you love your family and how you do anything for them? Yeah, well, that's how we feel about control. We love it. And we just want control over everyone and everything. Think about it this way. Have you ever been in a relationship with a really controlling person? You know how awful that can feel? So you can imagine how much better it feels to be the person who's doing the controlling in the relationship. So that's what we're trying to do in our relationship with everybody. We love being in control. It feels so good to us. That's why we make up rules to protect people. They clearly don't, because they're not designed to protect people. They're engineered to give us control over people. Like a 10 p.m. curfew, think about that. I can assure you that one's not because COVID's nocturnal. Do you know what the feeling's like, knowing everyone's putting on a mask to cover their identity just to go into a store? And we're not even there, but they're doing it anyway? That's how much control we have over them. It's intoxicating. Some say it's kind of like playing God, but not true. It is playing God. In fact, it's actually more than playing God, because God doesn't control people. He gives them free will. We do control people, so I wonder if we could control God. Jerry, see if we can get God to go into quarantine. How do we control you? With fear. It's actually the only way we can control you. Are the masses of people scared of the virus or what the virus has done? No, even though they think they are. They're scared of what we've told them the virus is, what it has done, and what it will do. Essentially, we want to keep you scared 24/7, even while you sleep. So again, why do we want you scared? So we can control you. Because we love control, not you. Getting people to willingly do things is controlling. It's great. But getting people to do things that are against their will is the G-spot of control. It's exponentially more controlling. Then you're at a level of control where people are like, I want to have friends over, but I won't, because I'm not supposed to. They're going against their own will, or they're like, I don't want to wear a mask, they don't do anything, but I'll put one on to go into the store so no one gets angry at me. They're doing what they themselves don't want to do, and we're doing it to them. You know, getting people to get injected with something is controlling. It's good. I'm not saying it's not. It's controlling. But getting people to get injected with something that they don't want to get injected with is so much more controlling. And that's what we're kind of doing here. Is this making sense to you? Picking up what I'm putting down? We also strengthen the venom of control circulating in people by getting them to do what they know is harmful to them. Like we tell people, sunlight kills the virus, so stay inside. And when they submit to that, even though they know what they're submitting to doesn't make any sense and is harmful to them, they're betraying themselves and becoming more loyal to us, which means we have more control over them than they do. And that's a win. And in the same vein, we also like to tell people, if you're overweight, you're at high risk. So we're going to close down all the gyms for your protection. And then they don't exercise. And the ace up our sleeve that people fall for all the time is we actually tell them human connection is bad for them. It's like telling a fish that water's bad for them. But the difference between fish and people is people will fall for it. So it's good. Another strategy that helps volumize the amount of control we have over people is we prey on the most scared people to get them to police the unscared people. Like, have you ever seen someone yelling at someone else for not wearing a mask? Or someone calling the authorities on a business that didn't shut down? Or someone reporting their neighbors because they had friends over? We're controlling them to control you. It's control squared. And I think it was Einstein who had the breakthrough equation, E equals mc squared. The C stands for controlled. The M is for masses, and the E is for elite. Elite equals masses controlled squared. Simple math. Now there's three things we must control in order to have complete control over you. Your thoughts, your words, and your actions. Controlling your actions. We're doing that. Wear a mask, shut your business down, stay in your home, stay 6 feet apart, etc. Controlling your words. Yeah, we're doing that. It's called censorship. We censor speech that speaks out against the scare tactics that we're using to control people. A nice side effect of this one is it's much easier to control people who don't know they're being controlled. That's why we don't let people talk about what we're doing when they recognize what we're doing. And controlling your thoughts. Yeah, we're doing that too. We control the media to control your thinking. Whoever controls the media controls the population. And that's us. We're the elite. We control the media, and therefore we control you. Controlling the media is how we censor your thinking, and therefore it's how we control your thinking. Because controlling your thinking shouldn't be left up to you. It should be left up to us, as we need to control your thoughts, words, and actions in order to have complete control over you. Because we love control. Will a heroin addict ever feel like they have enough heroin? Probably not. Will we ever feel like we have enough control over you? Probably not. So we'll gladly continue taking more control, if you keep letting us.
Most people think the key to losing
Now,
weight
I think that was. I think that's the end of it.
diet
Hold
and
on, they put an advert just in the wrong place, didn't they?
Stop what you're doing and be
Yeah.
grateful with.
That's all right. That's him just talking now. Now, what I said earlier, obviously, about truthers going into the supermarket. You know, if you have got to go to the supermarket and you don't want to blend in with the sheep, don't get your designer mask. Now, look at me, right? Whose side am I on? Am I on Nick Hancock's side? Am I fast asleep with what I'm wearing in the supermarket now? Because I can only go in there with my face covered to buy food if it ever got that bad. You know what side I'm on. So all I'm saying, truthers, is don't go in there with a designer mask that makes you blend right in, because you might as well be one of them if that's what you do. Now, that is still recording beautifully, and I love you all. Even asleep. Of course, I love you all, don't I? Because everyone will awake at some stage. Now, there's one more thing I want to show you, and this is amazing. This is particularly for all the truthers, starseeds, whatever, you know, you think, why am I here? You know, well, you know why you're here, but this is a beautiful little video someone's done that sort of might explain it nicely to you from a future, past or present perspective. So I shall expand this. Can I do that and then play it? Yes. Enjoy.
So tell me, out of everything you've ever done, what's the craziest experience you've ever had?
That's easy. Earth.
Earth? You went to Earth?
I did.
No way. You were a human?
I was.
Wow. Are the stories about Earth true? Were they really trapped on Earth?
Some were. I know because I was one of the volunteers.
Wait a second. You volunteered to go to Earth?
I did. I had to. I had family trapped on Earth.
But how could you get trapped on Earth?
You had to be there to understand. On Earth, you wouldn't remember anything.
What do you mean you wouldn't remember anything?
I mean, you would have no memory of anything. You wouldn't even remember existing before Earth.
What? How is that possible?
It was designed that way. It was brilliant. To dive as deeply as possible into such ignorance, such darkness, and still find your way back to remembering who you were, that took true mastery.
Wow. I still can't believe you went to Earth. Tell me more.
Well, Earth had its own set of laws that everyone agreed to experience, like gravity. What goes up must come down, like linear time. Day is followed by night.
Time? What's time?
You know how when we think of something it manifests instantly? Well, on Earth there was a delay. The delay is what made Earth so difficult.
Interesting. Time. So tell me more.
Before going to Earth, you would choose your family, whether you wanted to be male or female, what race you wanted to be, the location on the planet, things like that.
Oh, so you could choose your own character.
Exactly. You would enter the Earth as a baby and be completely dependent on others to teach you the rules. But since nobody could remember the rules, they made up their own rules, based on fear and giving your power away to others.
That doesn't sound like much fun.
It wasn't for everyone.
What'd you do while portions of you were on Earth?
I watched them. It was pretty funny.
What was so funny?
Here were these magnificent beings, playing the most unique and cutting-edge experience in the universe, and they were clueless. I tried to guide them as much as possible.
Wait a second. You could communicate with them?
Yes, but they couldn't hear me. I would show them synchronicities, or send them impulses to help guide them, but they couldn't see the signs.
Why not?
They didn't trust themselves.
So is that why they sent out a call for help?
Exactly. Is that when you went? No, I didn't go until later. First volunteers, they had it the worst. What do you mean, had it the worst? Well, they killed them. What? They killed the volunteers. They killed them? Those on Earth couldn't understand what the volunteers were telling them. The idea that they were equal to the volunteers scared them. What were they telling them? Common sense stuff like, all the answers you seek are inside you. Everything I can do, you can do and more. So they killed them? And then they twisted the volunteers' message and created even more fear. What do you mean, more fear? Like the message, God is inside you, was turned into, you are separate from God. The message, all the answers you seek are inside you, was twisted into, you can't trust yourself. And they believed it? It was out of control. How could they believe that? You had to be there to understand. Did you know they actually believed that they were the only intelligent life in the universe? Now that's funny. Pretty crazy, I know. So then what happened? The designers knew Earth was going to enter a section of the galaxy that humans had never experienced before. A section filled with a frequency that might be able to reconnect the human's DNA. What was wrong with their DNA? It didn't work anymore. The thing is, their DNA was how they connected with their higher self. So that's why your incarnations couldn't hear you. Exactly. But there was a catch with the new plan. Only those incarnated on Earth could tune in to these new frequencies. Oh, so they needed more volunteers. Yes, but this time they were taking no chances. To pull this off, they needed millions in the physical form, wired and ready to attune to these frequencies. Are these the 21st century humans that all the stories are about? Yep. We volunteered from every corner of the universe to help the humans wake up. What did the volunteers have to do once they got there? We had to wake ourselves up, attune to these frequencies, and spread them to the rest of the planet. That sounds impossible. Most of those watching the Earth experiment didn't think we could pull it off. So, what happened when you got to Earth? Once on Earth, we were taught the same fear-based beliefs that had been handed down for eons. We lived just like everyone else, totally clueless to who we were and what was getting ready to happen. But as soon as the Earth entered this cloud of frequencies, we started to question everything. And one by one, we started to wake up. So the plan was working. It was. The more we trusted ourselves, the quicker we reconnected. And the faster we started to remember what was happening. And since we were spread out evenly all around the planet's frequency began to rise quickly. What happened when the planet's frequency began to rise? The humans' experience of time began speeding up. They started manifesting their beliefs faster and faster. Those consumed with fear created even more fear, and eventually Earth just spun out of control. What do you mean, spun out of control? These low-frequency beliefs that had controlled the human experience for eons could no longer exist. So they began to self-destruct, and the world fell into complete chaos. That sounds terrifying. It was for those living in fear. But for us volunteers, we all knew it was the end of the old energy and the beginning of the new. So then what happened? A tipping point was reached in our awakening, and we created a new Earth. A new Earth? What happened to the old Earth? It continued on, allowing those who could not let go of their fears to play out their lessons. But for us, we created a new Earth that matched our higher frequency. And as easy as that, all the fear-based beliefs simply fell away. In an instant, we remembered who we were. We knew we were all connected, and we stopped hurting each other. We started respecting each other, started loving each other. We took back our power to create, and we created a new Earth without fear. Wow, so the legends are true. What an incredible experience that must have been. Nice work. Thanks.
Yeah. Nice work. Yeah, so we'll get rid of that. Go back there. Put that on there. I just thought that was a lovely way to finish today. I'm sure that will... people will look at that and go, oh yeah, what a load of bollocks. But everyone who looks at that and understands it, I love you. Everyone else, I love you too. So have a wonderful day. I might be back tomorrow. Love and love.